Japan is the traditional start of the Grand Prix season, and almost on cue it begins raining, and continues to rain. But that hardly seems to put a dent in the enthusiasm of local fans who calmly queue for a chance to buy a ticket to Suzuka. In an area where 8 million people produce 1% of the world's gross national product, the word recession doesn't mean the same as it does elsewhere. The crowds come prepared for the weather, and it seems there are more umbrellas per head of population than anywhere else in the world. Wayne Rainey arrived in Japan with his left hand still swollen because of a cracked bone sustained when he fell while testing in Barcelona 3 weeks before. But fit and ready to race for the new season's challenge was Mick Doohan.
The 5.8 kilometre Suzuka circuit, the lap record holder John Kosinski, his average speed 160.577 kilometres per hour. No chance of these speeds at this opening round of the championship, with the rain falling as the riders line up for 22 laps, 129 kilometres of the Suzuka circuit. Last year's winner Kevin Schwantz in pole position. And it's Schwantz who makes a flying start in the appalling conditions. Schwantz leads from Chandler, Doohan, Gardner and Kosinski into the first right-hander. Wet for riders and spectators alike. Schwantz still leads. His new teammate Doug Chandler in second place. Michael Doohan third. Wayne Gardner now up into fourth place and John Kosinski fifth. In sixth is Alex Crevier and seventh Miguel Doohan, the French-Canadian, making his Grand Prix debut. Randy Momola at the back of the pack, also making a welcome return to Grand Prix racing. The first faller of the season is Alex Crevier, the Spaniard, making his 500cc Grand Prix debut, the former 125cc world champion. And Wayne Gardner's gone, so Wayne Gardner follows Crevier. Gardner tries to pick up the damaged NSR Rothmans Honda. The marshals run to help. Gardner rips off the screen. Surely he can't get back in the race. Slow motion of Gardner. Slides into the sand trap. Very quickly onto his feet. Gardner back in the race, but in last place. Even more drama, the world champion is out. Wayne Rainey out of the race. He walks away. At the front, the two Suzukis still hold Doohan at bay. And it's Chandler who grabs the lead. 26-year-old, former American Superbike champion, 9th in the championship last year, his first ride in Suzuki colours. Chandler leads Schwantz, Doohan looking threatening in third place, Kosinski fourth. Despite the conditions, a great 500cc battle to open the season. Doohan now sets after Chandler after getting past Schwantz. Kosinski watches the fun from fourth place. But what a ride by Doug Chandler. His first season of Grand Prix racing, and Kosinski's gone. Dear, oh dear, oh dear, what a day for the Marlboro Yamaha team. John Kosinski out of the race. He joins teammate Wayne Rainey on the sidelines, and Kenny Roberts' face says it all. Doohan now challenging Chandler down the fastest part of the circuit, and he's through. Doohan takes the lead into the left-hander, splashes through the puddle on the way to the chicane. Doohan leads, Chandler in second place. And Kevin Schwantz third. But Doohan chasing his 5th Grand Prix victory. Second in the championship last year. And Wayne Gardner, incredibly, is back in the points. His NSR Rothmans Honda looking extremely worse for wear. And Corrado Catalona, the Italian, not a good place to go down as Kevin Schwantz appears, but Catalano just out of the way in time. Wayne Gardner's wife Donna can't believe the progress of her husband. He now chases the Japanese rider Ohishi riding a Suzuki, and he's passed him. The next man in front of him is Fujiwara riding a Yamaha. Gardner is in no mood for hanging around, but Fujiwara does not capitulate that easily. Gardner just stays on. Tremendously brave ride by the 1987 world champion. This time he's past Fujiwara and chases Neil Mackenzie in front of him. At the front, Doohan ploughs a lonely and wet furrow as he chases victory at this opening round of the championship. Gardner is now chasing Randy Mamola in 5th place. But then disaster strikes. The brave Australian finds the only piece of unprotected Armco barrier around the Suzuka circuit. He's hurt. His right leg is broken in 2 places. Desperately disappointing start for Wayne Gardner. Meanwhile, unaware of the dramas behind him, his teammate, 26-year-old Australian Michael Doohan, crosses the line to win the opening round of the championship, his 5th Grand Prix victory. What a start for Doohan. Confirmation of the result, a win for Michael Doohan. In 2nd place, Doug Chandler, 3rd, Kevin Schwantz, 4th, Shinichi Ito, and 5th, a great comeback by Randy Mamola.
The magical harbour of Sydney provided the backdrop for the 2nd round of the World Road Race Championship, with Eastern Creek Raceway hosting the Australian Grand Prix. Just over 200 years ago, this magnificent waterway was the birthplace of a nation and remains the focus of Australia's largest city. The capital of New South Wales is known for its landmark Sydney Harbour Bridge, a 500-metre span across the harbour. And on the outskirts of the city, this modern new racetrack. And for a closer look at the circuit, here is Neil Mackenzie.
Okay, this is coming on to the main straight Eastern Creek, fastest part of the racetrack. It's a downhill straight and it levels out past the pits. This is the fastest part of the racetrack, maybe 280 kilometres, maybe a little bit faster. Back 2 gears to 4th gear for the first corner, very fast corner, fastest corner on the track. Middle of the corner, I get back in the throttle, accelerate hard into this tight left-hander, back all the way to 1st gear and clip the first apex, run out a little bit wide, still in 1st gear, back to the 2nd apex, pick the bike up straight, short shift 2nd, 3rd gear into the next right-hander, then it's uphill, over the crest of a hill, peaking out in 3rd gear. As soon as I start to go down the hill, back to 2nd gear, cross to the right-hand apex, follow the apex all the way around, pick the bike up in 2nd, accelerate hard, into a left-hander, 2nd gear again, back on the throttle, accelerate hard, 2nd, into 3rd gear, flick it right, then back into 2nd gear, back into 1st for the next left, tight here, careful on the throttle not to high side, then 1st, 2nd, 3rd, under the bridge, to the crest of the hill, then back into the left apex, still in 3rd gear, then a quick burst down, still in 3rd gear, back to 1st gear for the next right-hander, very tight hairpin this one, and careful again on in 1st gear, accelerate hard, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th gear, and then head for the apex here, back to 3rd, then back to 2nd, then flick it left for the last corner onto the straight again, and then hit the apex here at the last corner, begin to accelerate 2nd, then short shift to 3rd, then accelerate hard onto the main straight, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, downhill, past the pits again.
"21-year-old Queenslander Darrell Beattie is drafted into the Rothmans Honda squad to replace the injured Wayne Gardner. He's delighted to qualify 3rd fastest. John Kosinski's not so lucky. The young American crashes, damages his hand and will miss the race. 30 laps of the Eastern Creek circuit, 117.9 kilometres. Doohan in pole, Rainey, Beattie and Schwantz making up the front row of the grid, and a great start by world champion Rainey. determined to make up for his disappointments in Japan. Doohan in second place, Kevin Schwantz third, and Daryl Beattie fourth. Then we have Randy Momola, Doug Chandler, Alexandra Barros and Eddie Lawson. This is the race the crowd have wanted to see. Doohan versus Rainey. World champion versus the Australian pretender to his championship crown. Rainey determined to make up for his disappointments in Japan when he crashed. Doohan equally determined to win in front of his home crowd. It's the perfect mixture for a fabulous 500cc Grand Prix battle. Doohan bides his time and then, to the delight of the crowd, makes his move. So Doohan leads from Rainey. The back markers are not going to cause him problems. Daryl Beattie is having a fine ride in third place. Another Australian on the Grand Prix trail. Not so lucky, Neil Mackenzie. Plagued by gearbox problems, but back in the race. The two Suzukis of Schwantz and Chandler slog it out for fourth. Chandler, no respecter, the senior member of the Suzuki squad. Chandler leads Schwantz. Girlfriend Kelly urges on Michael Doohan as he comes into the start and finish straight for the very last time. Lifts the front rail of the Rothmans Honda as he takes the checkered flag to win the Australian Grand Prix. The crowd loved every minute of the 26-year-old rider's success. So confirmation, Doohan wins, Rainey second. A great ride by Beattie into third place, Kevin Schwantz fourth, and Doug Chandler in fifth spot. So 2 in a row for Michael Doohan.
To complete the 3-race Pacific region opening of the season, the Grand Prix teams headed to the tropical paradise of Malaysia, with Doohan in search of a third victory.
The 3.5 kilometre Shah Alam circuit on the outskirts of Kuala Lumpur, staging its second ever Grand Prix. Last year's winner was John Kaczynski. He also holds the lap record, an average speed of 148.27 kilometres per hour. For the second year in succession, Kevin Schwantz misses the race. He's crashed in practice and damaged his hand. 30 laps for the crowd, 105.150 kilometres. And can anybody stop Doohan winning his third successive Grand Prix? The Australian makes the perfect start, followed by Crevier, Rainey, Beattie and Mackenzie. Crevier having a great ride in second place. Rainey third and Beattie, the surprise man of the Australian Grand Prix, fourth. Rainey trying to get past Crevier to set after Doohan in the lead. So Doohan leads, Rainey now second, Crevier third. Honda, Yamaha, Honda. The red flag is out, the race is being stopped with the rain pouring down on the circuit, so the race has been stopped. The riders return to the pits. They will now wait half an hour before the second leg. Spectators and marshals alike have no such protection. Tyre choice now vital as the riders line up for the second leg. Doohan in pole position after leading the first leg when it was stopped. 18 laps this second leg will be. Conditions far from perfect, the track damp. Doohan makes a bad start, loses the rear end of the Rothmans Honda, and Alex Crevier leads the way on the Cagiva. Crevier leads. Juan Garriga in second place, Alex Crevier, Neil Mackenzie. Garriga leads, but Doohan now threatening in second place. He's in no mood for fun and games. He shrugs aside the challenge of Garriga to take the lead. Doohan now leads, Garriga second. The track's still damp, but a great ride by Garriga. And the rain returns. Peter Goddard crashes out, was back on the track. And the race has been stopped again. The second leg has been stopped. Doohan puts up his hand to say the race has been stopped and to acknowledge the cheers of the crowd. Doohan wins his third Grand Prix in succession. The victory champagne tastes sweet for the 26-year-old Australian. Wayne Rainey in second place, and in third spot, Alex Crevier, the Spaniard, the first ever Spaniard to be on the rostrum in a 500cc Grand Prix race. Fourth with his countryman Juan Garriga, and fifth, impressive Australian Darrell Beattie. Doohan with a maximum 60 points, Doug Chandler in second place on 31.
Motorcycling is an integral part of Spanish life. Moped madness an everyday occurrence on the streets of historical Jerez, rich in thousands of years of Spanish culture. The fanatical enthusiasm for motorcycle Grand Prix racing in Spain was an ideal welcome for the teams, who knew that the visit to Jerez marked the start of summer and 4 months of racing in the traditional sweep across Europe. This was the car park scene on race morning, a motorcycle dealer's dream.
The lap record at the Jerez circuit is held by world champion Wayne Rainey. His average speed, 141 kilometres per hour. The race last year was won by Michael Doohan. He now chases his fourth Grand Prix victory in succession, and Rainey determined to stop him. 28 laps, 123.844 kilometres. Rainey qualified second fastest, Doohan in pole, the front row made up with Doug Chandler and Kevin Schwantz. As they race towards the first bend, it's Doohan where he has been all season, at the front. Doohan leads, Rainey in second place, Schwantz third. Glorious sunshine, a massive crowd. Doohan still leads the way. Rainey in second place, Schwantz third. Looks like Chandler going well in fourth place. We ride with Alex Crevier on the Kamsa Honda. This is Doohan. Unstoppable at the moment. Rainey in second place, but now the battle hots up for third. Alex Crevier on the Kamsa Honda goes up the inside of Schwantz, but doesn't get through. Just listen to that crowd. 220,000 on race day. Rainey still in second place. A rather lonely ride for the world champion. There's nothing he can do about the man at the front, but it's this battle for third that's got the crowd on their feet. Neil Mackenzie now up into third place. He relegates Alex Crevier to fourth, Kevin Schwantz fifth. Again we ride with Crevier. And again he's desperate to get back on the rostrum. But this is a good ride by Mackenzie. His best Grand Prix ride for a very long time. Mackenzie 19, Crevier 28, and Doohan, number 2, crosses the line to win the Spanish Grand Prix. But now, who's going to be third? Crevier goes up the inside of Mackenzie. And that's that. The brave Spaniard's bid halted on the very last lap. He's unhurt, but his race is over. We watch in slow motion. The point of no return. So Mackenzie finishes third, Wayne Rainey in second place, but victory again for Australian Michael Doohan. The champagne flows as he celebrates his 4th consecutive Grand Prix victory. Rainey in 2nd place, Mackenzie 3rd, Schwantz 4th and John Kaczynski 5th.
Italian fans take their motorcycle racing seriously, and they descended in their hordes on Mugello for the Italian Grand Prix to support their favourite riders, and no doubt Luca Cadalora would be amongst those. Mugello is set in the pretty Tuscan hills near Florence and is one of the most modern Grand Prix facilities on the calendar, with huge financial support from Ferrari.
It's not a happy return for Wayne Gardner, just 2 months after breaking his leg in Japan. He crashes in practice, did not damage his leg again, but missed the race. So the 500cc race, 24 laps, 125.88 kilometres. Doohan again in pole position. Off the line, Doohan leads the way, followed by Crevier and Chandler. The magnificent Mugello circuit, the perfect setting for a 500cc battle. Schwantz now up into 2nd place, Wayne Rainey 3rd. The 3 top men in Grand Prix racing at their very best. And Schwantz determined to dent Doohan's championship aspirations. He goes up the inside at the end of the start and finish straight. Schwantz now leads, Doohan relegated to 2nd. Rainey watches comfortably from 3rd. Serge David again in the sand. At the front, it's tightening up. Rainey now takes his turn in the lead. It's the first time the world champions led a Grand Prix race this season. Rainey leads, Doohan 2nd, Schwantz 3rd. Could this be the first defeat this season for Doohan? We ride with Alexandra Barros as he chases 5th place with John Kaczynski. These 2 young chargers are known as the late breakers, who will leave their braking later at the end of this 185-mile-an-hour straight. But Rainey's gone, the world champion goes down. Just look at his annoyance. Rainey's out of the race. He's okay, but his championship chances are disappearing fast. He just loses the front end of the Marlboro Yamaha going into the left-hander. And down he goes into the sand. Doohan almost joins him in his chase of Schwantz. Tremendous riding by the Australian. This is the battle for 3rd place. Chandler leads Kaczynski. Kaczynski gets up the inside, snatches 3rd place on the very last lap, but Kevin Schwantz wins the Italian Grand Prix, his first victory of the season, the 19th of his Grand Prix career, and the 27-year-old Texan celebrates in the only way he knows how. Meanwhile, Rainey's Yamaha is wheeled away. So Kevin Schwantz at last stops Michael Doohan's winning run. Schwantz wins, Doohan 2nd, Kaczynski 3rd, and Doug Chandler in 4th place.
2 days after the Italian Grand Prix, and the Mugello circuit is a much quieter place, except for the activity in the Cagiva pit area. The famous Italian team has stayed over for an intensive test and development session, looking to improve suspension and tyre performance. Disappointed with the race day chassis setup of the Cagiva in the Italian GP, 4-time world champion Eddie Lawson completed